Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, At Home with Willowberry. Or if you're new, welcome. But where have you been? I'm so happy to see you here. My name is Valerie, and in today's video, we're headed outside on this beautiful spring day in the Virginia mountains to build the base for our garden shed. So if you're interested, I hope you'll stick around and enjoy the video. How are you all doing today? I hope you're all having the best day ever. It's a beautiful day here in the Virginia mountains, so Tim and I have decided to take advantage of the nice weather and head outside to continue to build our garden shed. We are going to be building an 8 by 12 foot metal garden shed with a water catching system. In our last video, we leveled the ground and laid out the blocks and support posts. Today, we will be building the base, which the garden shed will then be built on top of. We have actually purchased 3 different sizes of the same garden shed. The 8 by 12 foot shed will be the garden shed. The 8 by 10 foot shed will be converted into a chicken coop. And then an 8 by 6 foot shed will be used for feed and supplies for the chickens. But that's all for another day. Today we are focused on building the base for our garden shed. Unfortunately, this property was neglected for quite a long time before we purchased it, and it's going to need a lot of TLC before it's looking pristine, such as all those vines and weeds growing up the fence and all the overgrown trees. Well, they need to go. We actually plan to have the trees cleaned up by the same company that cut down our 2 dead oak trees. Tim and I had planned to do it ourselves, but after seeing all the hard work it would take to remove all the trees, we decided to hire out the tree work instead. We still have so much work to do to renovate the mobile home, and we realize we can't do everything ourselves in a reasonable amount of time, so we figured it would be best to hire out some of the projects that we want to accomplish here on our property. The sooner the overgrown trees are removed, the sooner we can build our chicken coop. But there I go, getting ahead of myself again. We need to focus on the garden shed for now, but I just can't help myself. I'm always thinking ahead to the next project. As y'all know, we've taken a short break from renovating inside the mobile home. We spent a full year gutting and renovating 3 of the 5 bedrooms, which we finished back in March. Well, we'll be getting back to renovations very soon, but we wanted to spend the spring and early summer tackling some outdoor projects here on our property. The main one being the vegetable garden. We've never raised a vegetable garden before, and I never realized how much time and work it would take, especially starting from scratch. But don't worry, we'll be back to renovating as soon as it starts to get too hot to be outside later this summer. And we've already started planning out our next renovation projects. We're going to be renovating our middle son's room next, and then we need to replace the subfloors in the living room. The floors are in really rough shape and need to be replaced as soon as possible, or else someone might fall through the floor before we know it, and with my luck, it will be me. All that to say, we have just a couple of more outdoor projects left to finish, and then we'll be back inside before you know it, renovating our old 1975 double-wide mobile home. We are building the garden shed at the back of our garden patch. We actually removed a section of the fence and will incorporate the shed into the fence line. Next to the shed, we will install a gate in order to be able to access the water catching system that will be located at the side of the shed. We don't have any water access down at the garden, and right now I'm filling a rain barrel up with water, and then I haul it down to the garden with my four-wheeler and wagon. Well, soon we'll have 2 large water storage tanks that will be connected to the shed with rain gutters. The gutters will divert water into the storage containers, and then we will be able to water the garden with water straight from the storage tanks. Tim is a very hard worker and likes to take his time when working on a project. On this day, we had just enough time to build the base for the shed before having to go be taxi cabs for our boys. We had one son with an orthodontist appointment and another son that needed to be picked up from track practice. So unfortunately, we only have a few hours available per day to work on our outdoor projects. And that's why it seems to be taking so long to finish the shed. Oh, and not to mention the rain. It's been so unpredictable here in our little corner of the Virginia mountains. But slow and steady wins the race, and we certainly don't want to rush and make costly mistakes, because Lord knows I'd hate for Tim to have to redo all that he's done so far. That would be awful. Alright, y'all. Tim is finishing up building the base to the shed. He is attaching the shed base to the support posts. That way, if we ever want to move the shed, we will be able to move it all in one piece. Although I don't foresee us ever wanting to move the shed, but you just never know. Well, after Tim is finished building the base, then we will have to call it a day. In our next video, we will be laying and painting the floor, and then hopefully we'll also be able to start putting the metal shed together. We'll just have to wait and see.